Good morning, everyone. Paul Ruppel here with Fox 29 News Now. Hope you're having a great Friday. Friday's off to a great start. We're very close to the end of the work week. We're going to be taking you live momentarily to a police news conference in Philadelphia. Let's get you a little bit of information about this event. Gunfight in Frankfurt. The Frankfurt section of Philadelphia left 2 people dead and a third badly wounded. Here's some video of that scene. Bullets went flying inside a house on the 5100 block of Saul Street. A 13-year-old son of one of the victims called police before escaping the home. Police found one man dead on the first floor and another dead on the second floor landing. A third man was found outside on his knees in the street. Police say more people could have been killed. Here's some sound from Philadelphia Police Commissioner Richard Ross.
I think we have to avoid tacitly suggesting, just by talking to me only, that it's a police problem. And, it's easy for people to infer that if I'm the only one talking. And it has nothing. And when I say that, look, it's clear, I'm not talking about just government. And so I'm talking about everybody, involved in this. And you can just, it's a litany of people, who we could be talking about. And again, this is not indicting them. This is just saying that we're not going to do it by ourselves. And that's just the bottom line. And I'm talking beyond Philadelphia. I'm not just talking in this city.
That was the police commissioner talking in general about violence in the city and a little bit about this incident. Police also found 2 women and a baby inside the house. They were not injured. We're waiting for our camera to pop up here at the news conference. We'll bring this to you as soon as that happens. It's scheduled, you know what? I'm seeing it's scheduled to begin at 11:30, so we'll circle back to this one. This will be Captain John Ryan of the Philadelphia Police Department's Homicide Unit speaking, and we'll bring that to you as soon as it happens. In the meantime, let's start with a little bit of weather. Here's a look at Ultimate Doppler radar right now. See the cold temperatures in our area producing some snowfall. It might be some lake effect snow up in central New York, a little bit in Pennsylvania, up around the Williamsport area, and then out towards the western part near Pittsburgh. Might be a little activity also out to our west, but not much to speak of other than that on the radar. Here's a look at current temperatures. 37 in Philadelphia, 30s across most of the area, 24 in Mount Pocono, quite chilly up there. 39s down in Dover, Wildwood, and Atlantic City, and Wilmington. Your northeast temperatures. See that cold air up along the Canadian coast there. 21 in Burlington, Vermont, 19 in Toronto, just on the other side. The 40s down a little to our south, Charlottesville, Virginia, and Ocean City, Maryland. And across the country, 74 in Miami, 64 in Tampa, down in Florida. See those 40s down into Atlanta right now. 42 degrees for a high, or at current temperature at the moment. 45 in Dallas. They are expecting a southern slider to bring some wintry precipitation. I believe a lot of it will be focused in North Carolina and the area and immediate surrounding states, Virginia to the north, South Carolina a bit to the south. But this thing's going to wind up starting over north of the Gulf of Mexico and then work its way across the mid-Atlantic coast there. I think we'll be spared. Here are your winds right now. Sustained 14 miles per hour in Philadelphia. Teens across most of the area. A bit higher, 26 miles per hour up in Mount Pocono. Seeing some gusts into the 20s right now across the area. Wildwood 20, 24 Atlantic City, 23 in Toms River. Visibility though, very good. Clear skies out there, 10s all across the board. You can see not too much cloud cover to speak of right now on satellite. Those winds are bringing the temperatures down. It feels like 28 in Philadelphia right now. 30s to our south, but 20s across much of southeastern Pennsylvania. Only 8 in Mount Pocono where we're seeing those gusts into the 20s. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast from the Fox 29 Weather Authority. Right now we're looking at a day that's going to be 9 degrees below average. It's going to be a 7 in our Fox 29 forecast by the numbers, weather by the numbers. And 7s for Saturday and Sunday as well. 36 and dry and cold on Saturday. You see that overnight low of just 23 degrees. We're watching the coast on Sunday, 38. Stays chilly, 40 on Monday. Tuesday, mostly sunny, 40. Wednesday, sunny and dry, 41. Thursday, near normal, 45. Let's take you to an event that's occurring live right now in Florida. This is a news conference about a hero police officer. Looks like the Highway Patrol are speaking there. Let's listen in.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Morning. Yeah, my name is Ronnie, R-O-N-Y. Last name is Botex, B-O-T-T-X. I would love to thank every state troopers, every law enforcement, men and women, who's there for our service. Also, special hero on the name of my family, for Trooper Patel. Act so quick to save my life today. I'm 65 years old. I never been to any accident in my life, first times. And I say, is that enough? No, it's not. There's more to go. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, sir.
And God bless you. And we are not the friends. We are family.
Yes, sir.
Not number one, number two, family.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you all.
She's a little shy. This is the daughter of Mr. Patel, Mr. Botex.
Hello, good morning. My name is Marilyn Botex Wallace. I want to start off by saying thank you, Trooper Patel, on behalf of my entire family. If it wasn't for you being there that day, my father wouldn't be here. It means so much to myself and my family, and I'm forever thankful and grateful for you.
Trooper Patel. We can't let him run off. That's why everybody's here.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Too many cameras. We have 5 in our patrol car. I feel that's a lot, but I'd like to thank everybody for being here. I'm really grateful that Mr. Botek's not injured. Started off as a first crash and ended up in a second crash. So I'm hoping, no more crashes for you. But we'll be there with you at all times, sir. Okay? Just want to go ahead and thank everybody that's in here, my zone partners, my supervisors, my chain of command. Everybody has been grateful. They all came in and showed their gratitude and thanks at the hospital. Really appreciate it. Didn't let me sleep at all, but thank you so much. I'd like to thank my God. All the gods are the same for me. I pray to every God. So thanks God. Thanks my Guruji in India for their blessings. My elders in India, my grandparents in India for their blessings. I'd like to thank my wife. She was there within a few minutes, and thanks for bringing her over. I don't remember her now, but that's a different story. My parents who were so concerned. My mom was the first one on scene. because she was dropping one of my sister-in-laws, and they were both on scene, the first one. So I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank both my brother. One's older, I kind of look like him, and the younger one just fell off the chart. Yeah. I'd like to thank one of my sister-in-laws here. The other ones had to work. She was so upset she had to work today. So I'd like to thank Major Chandler once again, and my entire FHP family, all my brothers and sisters in FHP family. Everybody has been grateful. Everybody has been grateful. I'd like to thank the American Indian Association that I have in Port St. Lucie that I work with. Everybody has been blessing me with their prayers, so I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank the entire law enforcement family, PBSO, Martin County. They were all there. They came and see me at the hospital. Everybody, every law enforcement I could think of that I could remember at that time was there. Other than that, I don't remember anybody. I'd like to thank my lifeline on the road, which is the FHP Dispatch, who communicated with Martin County SO and get everything started. So I really appreciate that. Appreciate the Martin County Fire Rescue for being, from what I heard, they were jumping medians. So I was really grateful from there. St. Mary's Hospital staff, the nurses were excellent. I don't remember the trauma doctors. I was in trauma at that time, I guess, so I don't remember them. But thanks the doctors as well for taking care of me. Thank you, Jurgensen staff, as well as the road ranger, as well as the tow truck driver who ran up. Were the first one to see me do Olympic-style roll. I did not land perfect, unfortunately. Didn't get a 10, but I got a 0 on that one. I got to practice more often, I guess, at home. I'd like to thank everybody who had sent prayers to the dispatch, to the major, to me, all over the country. It was really grateful. The social media has been excellent. Just can't thank enough. Thanks Channel 12 for being there to record the whole incident. Otherwise, I would have had a blank space in my memory that just couldn't be put together. Just one thing, just send me another copy of it for the whole thing so I could frame it. You know. But thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, God. Chaplain, sir, if you can, please give prayers to everybody so we could all be prayed one more time. It's okay with you, sir?
He was a lot quieter in the hospital.
Thank you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this event today so that we can celebrate and commemorate this heroic act, but also to thank you for the protection that you provided him instead of getting worse injuries than he was. We thank you for Mr. Botex and how you protected him. We ask that you would be with all of us as you always are, to give us the protection and the guidance that we need to do our duty. We thank you for all of those who have shown support, care, and love at this time to the Patel family. And we ask this all in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Back to you, sir.
Pretty much concludes. I guess if you have any questions, you can ask them now, or we can go up. We'll go out in the lobby or outside. If you want to do one-on-one interviews or anything. Is that good? Thank you. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
So nice event there. I'm glad we were able to bring that to you live. That was a news conference being held by the Florida Highway Patrol. One of their troopers was hit by a car while pushing another man out of danger. He is now recovered from his injuries. The first gentleman you heard speak there, Ronnie Botex, says he would be gone if it weren't for Trooper Middle Patel's actions Monday morning on Interstate 95 near West Palm Beach in Florida. The trooper was investigating a crash involving Botex's car when a second crash caused another driver to lose control. Patel pushed Botex to safety before being thrown in the air by the spinning car. A WPEC TV crew that had shown up to cover the first crash captured the second. Botek survived with just an injured knee and says Patel saved his life. The station says Patel is in good condition at the well, obviously he's out of the hospital now. They were able to hold that news conference. That was an Associated Wire report on what happened. But glad that was able to come together and share that. It was a very nice news conference there. Some good news coming from Florida there. We do have some other breaking stories this morning. Let's get you a look at those. Let me cue up some video for you. President Trump this morning, before leaving for an event from the White House, spoke with the media. There he made two announcements about some personnel changes. I want to bring those to you right now. Actually, you know what? We'll hold off on that. Let's get you out to, this looks like it's a live event occurring. This looks like it's a Pearl Harbor Remembrance event. Let's listen in.
And in the next half hour or so, all hell really broke loose. The most frightening thing I can recall, how much noise these bombs made when they're hit, especially when they struck our hangars. Everything was rocking. By this time, the ground was shook. We couldn't tell from whether they had picked out the planes lined up the airport, flight lines. But we knew they hit the hangars. The reason they hit the hangars and flight lines because they didn't want the airplanes to get up. Airplanes were overhead, crisscrossing Hickam Field at low altitude, just blowing the hell out of everything, including the barracks. The planes flying so low, they're using their cannons and machine guns. While all this is going on, somebody came to the idea, hey, don't you think it's about time we get some ammunition for our weapons? We decided to go to the ammunition shack, the edge of the runway. When we got there, we ran into the supply sergeant. His name's Roy P. North. Outside. He said, I don't have the key to the padlock to open up the supply room. I didn't get orders from the captain. I said, oh, you all right? You see what's happening out there? So we finally convinced him, one way or another, to open the shack, and he did. We finally convinced him, but he started to issue his limited amount of ammunition. He just gave it what the book called for. So we decided to take the matters in our own hands and help ourselves. We actually didn't have anything to shoot at, but it gave us a little better feeling knowing that we had all the ammunition could carry. I had a Thompson 45 caliber submachine gun, not the best weapon world, but I always thought that it didn't do anything else. It would sure put the fear of God in somebody. During the time, they made a shamble of Hickam Field. It was a shamble. The barracks were hit, the airlines were hit, the hangars were hit. So anyway, let me just give you. So we're running down to the supply room. I'm running right, and the guy ran. Chick, they just hit the mess hall. Where the hell are we going to eat? That's what you think about, you know. That's true. The flight line was, all the planes on the ground were gone. There were casualties everywhere, civilians as well. There's quite a lull between the first and second wave of the attack. That's when we moved out of Hickam Field. So at this time, we had no indication what had taken place at Pearl Harbor, other than the smoke and noise. Once you come out of Hickam, we started the road that passed Pearl Harbor. You could see everything because we're going up a hill. Oh my God. It was just unbelievable. The destruction everywhere. To make matters worse, you looked just burning smoke and repeated explosions. In the second attack, we were caught on the open Keano Road that runs through Pearl City. By this time, the road was clogged with military. Personnel, trucks, vehicles, jeeps, everything. The Japanese then decided to empty their guns again. Low-level strafing attack. they would fly over, and everybody would bail out wherever they could. We'd work in the sugar canes or the caves. Then the planes would pass, come back and resume what they were doing. Then another. It seemed to have no end, like eternity. Tuesday, to repeat the drill. The attack that hits will, the attack hit us with a shock and awe. The first time I felt fear when we started across the hangar area, I looked and saw the planes coming down. That was really a time I felt really fear. I felt anger. Of course, the anger said, oh boy. The longer the way went on, the anger I got. There is no way you can take your frustration out on anybody. Then they told us to take the men and the trucks in a place called Red Hill, a depot in the Alamo Crater. Alamo Crater was an old extinct volcano. Matter of fact, that's where we kept the ammunition in the volcano. Both the Army and Navy used to store high explosives. Everybody pictured a volcano coming up to a small cone. Looks like on a picture postcard. But this was a huge volcano. I don't know how far across it was, but it had a huge valley. All around the side of the valley into the wall of the volcano itself, there was lava caves. This had built by the Army and engineers. This is where the munitions were kept and stored. That's where the headquarters for the headquarters was in the crater for the powers to be at that time. They were all there. This is where they took us that night. We hadn't had much to eat. Anything. All we had was water that day. Now it's dark. Everybody's tired. And I guess that fear makes you even more tired, or whatever you. If you, it is you feel your mouth to dry, your whole system is just keyed up. The point where you just can't even move. You feel angry and frustrated. There's nothing you're able to do to take any sort of retaliation at all. They put us in a crater, not in caves, just in a crater. It was overgrown with vegetation. It was all overrun with wild pigs. There were probably more wild pigs shot that night than any night in the history of Hawaii. To top this though, it began to rain. Dark and mean. It was just steady hard. The only shelter we had were little two-man pup tents. You might as well cover yourself with newspaper, as had to one of them, and it rained heavily and steadily. You know, you passed to say, who goes there? Well, there's no halt, who goes there? You heard noise, you shot. I might give you an idea. When you take a perimeter, you put guards on guard duty outside the perimeter, and you have to say before you let you back in, we had a password. Railroad. Why do you have railroad as your password? Japanese can't say they're ours. That was our. If you didn't know the password, you didn't get back in again. Let me tell you that, because you couldn't take the chance to know who anybody was. You heard a noise, you shot. Then you listened to see if anybody's there at all. Nobody slept that night. When we did this crater, we had chow there, bread and coffee. That's it, nothing else. You didn't go outside because of the small arms fire all night long. Everybody just huddled up down into those pup tents with this rain coming down. There was more fear settling in after it was quieting down. They started to realize what had happened. The next day we stayed till late one afternoon, and then we returned, striking back at the Hickam field. Now everybody didn't go back together. When an officer gave you an order to go ahead, take a truck back, you would take your men back. When you're back to Hickam town, by this time, we realized what really happened. There was awful loss of life, a great amount of devastation. Japan did it. Japan did it. No one had declared war, but we knew the war was on. This is when my friend John Horan got killed that day. By the next day, the fires at Hickam had burned out themselves. But that wasn't the case over at all at Pearl Harbor. I don't know how long after December 7th these fires continued to burn. The very next day, December 8, 1941, the United States declared war on Japan. Then on December 11, 1941, we declared a war on Germany. Then President Roosevelt said, December 7, 1949, will a day forever live in infamy. Out of 84,000 survivors of the attack at Pearl Harbor. 2,400 were killed. There was only about, and my friend here at Pearl Harbor survivors, only about 2,000 of us left. And I might say another thing to you. These are stats. 12 million men and women served in World War II. There's about 800,000 alive today. 400 of us die a day. 400 of us die a day. So pray for us. And thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless America.
Chick, James, the Pearl Harbor attack 77 years ago forever changed your life as it changed our entire country. And it brought together the American people into a nation wholeheartedly committed to victory in the Second World War. We can not only thank you enough for your service, we do pray for you. We are grateful to you every day, and we are so grateful that you allow us to carry on the legacy and to continue to inspire our youth with your stories. And thank you for that. We're honored to have everybody here, families, friends, to share this special day with us. At this time, please welcome to bless the ceremonial wreath, Rabbi Morris Barzilai.
You've been watching a Pearl Harbor commemoration there at the Intrepid Museum in New York City. I apologize, I had a typo in the banner there. Had an extra letter at the end of Pearl, but fixed it later on. But we want to get you ready for, there's a news conference that's going to be occurring with Philadelphia Police. We mentioned this at the top of our stream today. This is going to be about a homicide investigation, a homicide that occurred in the Frankfurt section of the city. Let me cue up some video here so we can talk about this. A gunfight in the city's Frankfurt section left 2 people dead and a third badly wounded. Bullets went flying inside a house on the 5100 block of Saul Street. A 13-year-old son of one of the victims called police before escaping the home. Police found one man dead on the first floor and another dead on the second floor landing. A third man was found outside on his knees in the street. Police say more people could have been killed. And we'll bring you again this sound. This is Philadelphia Police Commissioner Richard Ross talking about the incident.
I think we have to avoid tacitly suggesting, just by talking to me only, that it's a police problem. And, it's easy for people to infer that if I'm the only one talking. And it has nothing. And when I say that, look, it's clear, I'm not talking about just government. And so I'm talking about everybody, involved in this. And you can just, it's a litany of people, who we could be talking about. And again, this is not indicting them. This is just saying that we're not going to do it by ourselves. And that's just the bottom line. And I'm talking beyond Philadelphia. I'm not just talking in this city.
Heard the commissioner there talking a little bit about problems with violence in the city on a general basis. A third man was found outside on his knees in the street after this incident, and police say more people could have been killed. We are awaiting that news conference to begin. I'm not seeing the shot up just yet, so let's take a live look at the Art Museum right now. This is the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the end of the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. Let's get you live weather conditions here. Right now it's 38 degrees, dew point 12. Winds out of the north at 16 miles an hour, so they've picked up a little bit. Let's get another live look at radar. We are expecting that news conference to begin at 11:30, so we'll bring that to you as soon as we see it. It's a live look at ultimate Doppler radar. See what appears to be some lake effect snow occurring up in New York and parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania as well. Let's take you on a tour of our weather cameras right now. Let you see live conditions from around the region. And we'll come back out to the news conference as soon as it begins. Oops. Sorry about that. I'm having a little bit of a day here. Let's see. Let me put these on channel 2 for you. And now you'll be able to see the cameras. Here is the news conference starting right now. Philadelphia Police talking about homicide on Saul Street.
We're here to talk briefly about the events last night at 5145 Saul Street. Ultimately, 3 people died as a result of that, both the shooter and 2 of his partners. But our understanding at this point is Chris Young, who's 31, or lived in the 5100 block of Akron, entered a residence with the intent of committing a robbery, opening fire on the occupants inside the house. He ended up killing 2 people. He killed Terrence Gaddy. He was 31. That was his residence. And he killed Juan Rodriguez of the 4100 block of Sterling Street. And then Mr. Young was hit by a return fire and later collapsed outside. Found near him was a quantity of powder cocaine and United States currency. So there was some kind of drug deal. We believe a drug deal was set up, and Mr. Young went there to commit a robbery. There were 2 other women present in the house, along with, tragically, a 13-year-old boy who's witness to his father being killed. It's terrible for anybody to see their father get killed like that. And there's 1 other male present in the house that we're still talking to at this point.
Were any or all of the people involved, were they known to the police?
Some were. Some were. Had some prior history with the police.
And the 13-year-old call police?
Yeah, he made the phone call to 911.
Is there an infant in the house too?
It was like a 2-year-old child that was upstairs with his mother.
Whose son was the 13-year-old?
Mr. Gaddy's son.
Gaddy was the caller.
Pardon me?
Hey, Gaddy was the caller?
Yes. He lived there with his mother, who was also present.
And this drug deal was happening inside the home when?
We believe there was a drug deal set up, and Mr. Young arrived with the intention of robbing the residence.
And all the shots were fired inside the home?
As far as we can tell, yes.
Was there a baby there as well?
Again, there was a 2-year-old that was upstairs with her mother.
Was this a house that was like one house in Redwood, or was it kind of like a split up? You know, this side is mom and her kids, and this side is, do you know what I'm saying? Or was it all one residence?
It's a single-family residence, is our understanding.
Any surveillance video possibly to get away, people leaving or anything like that? Any comments about that?
We always look for video in our investigations. It's not clear what the video shows at this point or whether we have it.
Is there any other suspect who might be looking for that got away?
No, we believe Mr. Young acted alone at this point.
So that's, Mr. Young, the 2 other gentlemen that were killed, unfortunately, and you think that's all of it?
That appears to be the case.
Did this occur on the ground floor, second floor, basement?
No, this occurred on the first floor in the living room.
And the other people who were in the house, the children, the women?
They were upstairs.
They were all upstairs?
Yes.
So it's just the 2 victims and Mr. Young involved in it?
They had an exchange of gunfire, and apparently everybody got the worst of it.
And Young was shot by 1 of the 2 other men?
Yes.
Can you speak to the string of shootings and what is the police department doing in the new year? Are they prepared to do anything new in the new year to kind of fight the violence or curb the violence?
The police department always deploys to the violence hotspots quickly based on the most current data.
Do you have an update on the stats on sites? I know the site, your webpage has some stats, but from Wednesday, do you have a number given what happened last night?
I'll get your card afterward and I'll get them to you.
Can I see the correct spelling of the Gaddy?
It's Gaddy.
Say that name, sorry.
It's Terrence Gaddy, Gaddy, and Juan Rodriguez, all common spelling. And Chris Young.
And how old the 2 victims were, the Gaddy and Rodriguez?
Mr. Gaddy was 31 and Juan Rodriguez was 30.
And Terrence, Terrance?
I believe so, yes.
The age of Mr. Young again?
31.
Sir, for our people back to the station, just give us your full name and spell it for me, please.
It's Captain John Ryan, Johnryan. Thank you.
Thanks.
You've been watching a news conference at Philadelphia Police Headquarters about a homicide. 3 people killed. This was on Saul Street in the Frankfurt section of Philadelphia. You heard Homicide Captain John Ryan there say that they believe it was a drug deal gone bad. There was drugs involved in this case. Sadly, there were children in the home, including children of some of the folks who were killed. So, sad situation there in the city's Frankfurt section. Let's get you. I mentioned this. We've been bouncing around a little bit with some news, some nice events, some other live events occurring. Let's get you to some breaking news that occurred this morning. We'll call it developing at this point, since it's a little bit in the past. It happened a little over 2 hours ago. started to talk about this a little earlier. President Trump, before leaving from the White House for an event, announced that he's nominating two people to two important positions. One is his Attorney General. He's going to be announcing William Barr. He's going to be nominating William Barr, who's a former Attorney General under George H.W. Bush, to the Attorney General's office. He's also recommending State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert to UN ambassador. Here is sound from the president earlier this morning when he spoke at the White House on his way to Marine One.
So I'll be going to Kansas City. We'll be traveling to Missouri. I'm making a speech on law enforcement, very important subject. I want to confirm that Bill Barr, one of the most respected jurists in the country, highly respected lawyer, former Attorney General under the Bush administration, a terrific man, a terrific person, a brilliant man. I did not know him until recently when I went through the process of looking at people, and he was my first choice from day one, respected by Republicans and respected by Democrats. He will be nominated for the United States Attorney General, and hopefully that process will go very quickly, and I think it will go very quickly, and I've seen very good things about him even over the last day or so when people thought that it might be Bill Barr. So Bill Barr will be nominated for the United States Attorney General position. I think he will serve with great distinction. I also want to inform you that Heather Nauert, somebody that we know very well, who's done a great job as working with Mike Pompeo and others over at the State Department. Heather Nauert will be nominated. She's going to work with Nikki Haley to replace Nikki at the United Nations. She'll be ambassador to the United Nations. She's very talented, very smart, very quick, and I think she's going to be respected by all. So Heather Nauert will be nominated for the ambassador to the United Nations. Those are two very big ones. I have another one for tomorrow that I'm going to be announcing at the Army-Navy game. I can give you a little hint. It will have to do with the Joint Chiefs of Staff and succession. And I look forward to telling you, and I'll see you later. I'll see you in Kansas.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one. There you heard the president announcing picks to two prominent administration positions. One, the Attorney General for the White House. The other, the Ambassador to the United Nations. Heather Nauert will take over for Nikki Haley, the current U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. And I believe I have a little bit of video of her. Let's show you that. There's Heather Nauert. She will be. She's served as a spokesperson at the U.S. State Department. You heard President Trump talk about her work with Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State. The other appointee is William Barr, Bill Barr. He was an Attorney General under George H.W. Bush from, I believe it was 1991 to 1993. Of course, all of this comes as the important position in the administration. It comes as the Justice Department is pressing ahead with its investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 election. Mr. Barr is a Republican lawyer. He, as I mentioned, he served as the AG previously, so he's definitely has on-the-job experience. And some critics will point to his role in pardons during the Iran-Contra situation. But the president clearly feels he's appointing him and nominating him to the position. That'll be pending a Senate confirmation process. Right now, his current acting Attorney General is Bill Whitaker. Let's take a quick look at the stock market. You see stocks right now at the moment are down 307 points, a little more than 1.25 percentage points. Not the lowest they've been so far today. Of course, the market's been taking a bit of a beating. The last few days, dropped almost 800 points. I believe it was Wednesday, was down again yesterday, and now down about 317 points. Excuse me, I said earlier Bill Whitaker. I meant Matthew Whitaker, the acting U.S. Attorney General. So the stock market continues to be down. This despite unemployment holding at 3.7%. Job growth slowed a little bit, but still strong. OPEC and Russia did announce that they plan to cut oil output despite pressure from the president not to do so. So the market's reacting to a mix of information and developments here. We'll continue to watch this. In local news this morning, Kevin Hart, Philadelphia native, has announced he's no longer hosting the Oscars. This comes after a series of back and forth tweets and videos about homophobic comments he's made in the past. Our Sabina Kyriakos is following this story this morning, and she filed this report from North Philadelphia.
Right around midnight is when Kevin Hart tweeted that he was going to resign as host of the Oscars. So obviously people waking up to the news and everybody is weighing in on all of this. So as we go to a video, I'm just going to give you kind of the gist of what happened. So basically Kevin Hart announced as the host of the Oscars on Tuesday. The Oscars, of course, are in February. He was immediately on Instagram, on social media, posting about what a dream come true this was, how hard he had been working towards this goal. But all of that was followed by a torrent of criticism, people calling out his past homophobic tweets and jokes that dated to between 2009 and 2011, in which some of them he used a homophobic slur, as well as in one joke that he used on stand-up comedy, he said that he wouldn't want his son to be gay. Now, Hart refused calls to apologize, even from the Academy itself. He said that he had already addressed those comments over the years. But of course, his refusal only intensified the outcry. And here's one tweet that I pulled up because I think it kind of explains why people were so affected by his past actions. This is a tweet from openly gay comedian Billy Eichner. He's one of the few openly gay men in his industry. He said that a simple, authentic apology would have been simple enough. He writes, Hollywood still has a real problem with gay men. On the surface, it may not look like it, but unfortunately, it is complicated. So on social media, we're going to look at a video that Kevin posted just before he resigned, actually, in which he was digging in his heels, saying that he wasn't going to apologize. And of course, this morning we've been talking here in North Philadelphia to people from Kevin's old neighborhood, and we heard what they had to say. So let's listen.
So I just got a call from the Academy, and that call basically said, Kevin, apologize for your tweets of old, or we're going to have to move on and find another host. Talking about the tweets from 2009, 2010. I chose to pass. I passed on the apology. The reason why I passed is because I've addressed this several times. This is not the first time this has come up. I've addressed it. I've spoken on it. I've said where the rights and wrongs were. I've said who I am now versus who I was then. I've done it. I've done it. I'm not going to continue to go back and tap into the days of old when I moved on and I'm in a completely different space in my life.
We happy for his success. We love his success. But I love the way he handled it and dealt with it, you know what I'm saying, by putting the tweets out or whatever. He apologized and he's trying to move on. And that's the crazy part about life. Like, they hold your past against you.
So people here in North Philly standing by their man. Now on Twitter, this was Kevin's tweet. He said, I've made the choice to step down from hosting this year's Oscars. This is because I don't want to be a distraction on a night that should be celebrated by so many amazing, talented artists. I sincerely apologize to the LGBTQ community for my insensitive words. from my past. He had gone on to say that he has evolved and that he apologizes to anybody that he has hurt. Of course, that statement posted just over an hour after the video that you saw. So all of this happening really, really quickly. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more comment coming forward. Back to you.
Again, that was our Sabina Kyriakos reporting from North Philadelphia on Kevin Hart's decision ultimately not to host the Oscars. Sounds like he was conflicted about it. He was very excited to earn that honor, and then posted that video trying to take a stand and say he's apologized for these comments, but deciding shortly thereafter to step away. A few more stories we can bring you this morning. A man was arrested after barricading himself inside a home in West Philadelphia. The man fired a gunshot at someone's car, then ran into the house. Police say it all started over an argument about music. The SWAT team swarmed the 500 block of North Wanamaker around 1:30 a.m., where officers took the man into custody. We're seeing some video here of that incident. We have a sad update to bring you about a story from yesterday. An 8-year-old boy has died after flames engulfed his family's home in southwest Philadelphia. It's the fire we first reported, this was yesterday morning on Good Day Philadelphia. This occurred on Ardell Street. The boy lived with his mother, sister, and 2 grandparents. He was the only one who couldn't make it out of the burning home. All the family members were taken to area hospitals for smoke inhalation and injuries. Investigators are looking into what caused the fire. And Philadelphia police are searching for a man who they say tried to rape a woman in the city's Spring Garden section. It happened on the 600 block of North Broad Street last month. Investigators say the man followed the victim to her apartment and tried to sexually assault her. He tried to tie her up and cover her eyes, we were told. Neighbors heard screams and called police. The suspect ran off. The owner of the building says someone mans the front desk 24/7 and is supposed to confront every visitor. No one was there at the time, and that employee has since been fired. Here's some comments from the owner and then a resident of the apartment, of the building.
This is just a really unfortunate situation that I take full responsibility for.
I pay a lot of money to live here and hopefully thinking the place is going to be safe. And evidently it's not, because there's a gate that's open 24 hours a day.
Tenants say the front gate broke months ago. Management tells Fox 29 it's supposed to be open during the day and they will have it repaired. In the meantime, police are asking for anyone who recognizes this suspect to contact them. Here's a live look at the White House. We've been bringing you, as we mentioned, the president is on his way to Kansas City for an event where he'll talk about police. But before departing today, he nominated Heather Nauert to United Nations ambassador, or he will formally recommend her for that position in the near future. And he also will nominate William Barr to the Attorney General's office, U.S. Attorney General's office at the White House. He is a former AG. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders described Heather Nauert in March as a team player and a strong asset for the administration. So we're following that story. We'll have more on the Fox 29 News at 5, 6, 10, and 11 tonight. And again, we're keeping an eye on the stock market. Right now, New York Stock Exchange down 418 points, down to almost 24.5, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That loss is about a 1 2/3 percentage point drop in the market. Obviously, the market's having a rough week here. So we'll be continuing to follow the status of the markets. Let's get you one more look at ultimate Doppler radar. You see the lake effect snow up there. New York, Philadelphia, New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio getting in on some of that snowfall. Nothing in our area though, clear skies, 10 for visibilities all throughout the area. You see here, you're looking at Market Street outside our Fox 29 studios, the area of 4th and Market, looking east towards 3rd and 2nd Streets there. It's going to be another chilly one, about 9 degrees below normal for a high. We expect to go at least one more tick higher. We should get to 39. But we've got winds out of the north at 16 miles per hour. Let's give you one more look at the forecast before we go. Here's your 7-day forecast from the Fox 29 Weather Authority. 9 degrees below average, as we mentioned, 39 for high today. 7s on our forecast by the numbers for the start and remainder of the weekend. See, Hanukkah is still ongoing, and we'll have the Army-Navy game in Philadelphia this weekend. Happy Hanukkah to everyone who celebrates. 39 Friday, 36 Saturday, 38 on Sunday. Monday will be 40, stays chilly. Mostly sunny on Tuesday. Wednesday, sunny and dry, 41. Thursday, back near normal at 45 degrees for a high. So it's going to be a cold, dry spell here, it looks like. Should dodge that southern slider storm that's going to be impacting some of the southern mid-Atlantic states. Take a look at one more thing that's occurring at this moment I see live. It looks like this is people gathering for awaiting President Trump's arrival in Kansas City. The President was also talking about some other, had a variety of tweets this morning, among them announcing his new appointments, his recommendations to the Senate for Ambassador and Attorney General. Also wanted to counter some news reports that are out there that he said, we will be doing a major counter report to the Mueller report. This should never again be allowed to happen to a future president of the United States. And basically blasted Special Counsel Robert Mueller, leaking lion James Comey, as he calls him. A variety of other people involved in the investigation, Democrats, who he calls the angry Democrats, working, calling them still part of the campaign of Crooked Hillary. So the president being quite vocal on Twitter this morning. And even moments after stepping on Air Force One to travel to Kansas City, posting that tweet about doing the counter report to the Mueller report. So we'll have full coverage of the president's activities, his trip to Kansas City, on the Fox 29 News at 5, 6, 10, and 11 tonight. Till then, we'll leave you with this look at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Thank you for watching News Now. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.